Hi everyone, this is Ferdbird the Nerd. This is Ferdbird the Nerd with another comic book market report for you guys, July 15th, 2025. I hope you guys enjoy watching the show. And last week I was on a pilgrimage to New York. I met up with a good friend of the show and of ours, or a member of the show, I guess you could say, Fedora Khan. It was really good seeing him and just kind of, doing their kind of shooting the stuff and having a good time. It was a good visit. Family had a good time. But getting back to this, if you guys do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, leave a couple comments in the comment section below. It really helps with the algorithm. And let's get into it. Have a few kind of did something a little different this time. I went into a couple Silver Age books, which I usually don't do. I try and keep these like pretty modern, but I wanted to kind of look into a specific comic now that we have some time that I ran across earlier this week. All right, let's take a look here. All right, first off, Young Avengers #1. This was kind of a heartbreaker for me. I was really curious of what the market was thinking of this kind of whispered spec. There is a potential Young Avengers coming out fairly soon. I don't know when. It'll probably be in the next 2 to 3 years. It's crazy how this book has just done fairly okay. I wouldn't say it's like, this was like an $800 book during COVID. I'll stop trying to reference COVID, but I figured this would go for a little bit higher. And I've actually recommended it for $200, but I sold this at auction. I probably ended it a little too late. 9.8 auction went for $125. And I sent this off yesterday, kind of not really happy about doing that, but not going to be one of those guys that's going to cancel an auction because I didn't like the price. This is more of an experiment. I have 3 more of these guys, but this definitely was a bummer sale. If you got this, if you snagged this, like congrats to you. It was a great buy, in my opinion. A very low downside to this book at $125. But if you are looking for it, I think typically you're seeing those buy it nows, maybe offer $175, $150. See if the seller is desperate or just doesn't really care. I bought this book for like $10 when I had it. I have a couple copies I bought for $50. They're all 9/8, so I'm not too upset about it as I keep rambling. But I thought it was just something I want to share personally. So on to the next. And next up, Something is Killing the Children, the #3 variant. Now, this is just a piece of art. I don't really care if the Something is Killing the Children shows up one of these days. Amazon has supposedly optioned it for a little over a decade, but I was thinking of like timelines when companies announced to option a show, comic book, movie, or whatever. I want to say that The Last of Us took about 7 years to actually go on the big screen. So, and that was before comic book speculation, before video game speculation, what have you. So it may take some time for this particular comic book to come to the big screen. Now, when it eventually does, are we going to flood the market? Are we going to pick up more issues? I guess it depends on obviously how well the show does. I wasn't really a huge fan of this book, to be honest. It's just a harsh kind of like storyline. I don't really like seeing kids die, but this cover comic book alone is a great get. I think my boy Easy has a copy of this, and I wouldn't sell this if I had it for the price he got it at. It's just a beautiful cover. I would say arguably a top 10 cover of the past decade for sure. So if you guys have this book or are looking for it, that's your price. And I don't think that's unfair. Next up, Invincible #100. I got to put an Invincible book on the list because Invincible is the hottest thing since sliced bread. This was a pretty good sale, I would say. $134 for the 9/8. I like the colors on this book. I love the font. I love the headline at the top. I like how it's #100 issue. I don't know what the print run on this, but oddly enough, the chromium version is a lot cheaper. And I think it has to do with I think the cover, this one just pops a little more. And this is the cover A, so it's not necessarily the variant. And it does this one has Invincible on the front cover of the page, but I'm currently bidding on a 9/6 right now for about $2,275. I don't want to win it, but pray that I don't win that Invincible book. We'll see what happens in the end. Incredible Hulk #1. So my wife, we were on the way home from We were on the way home from New York, New Jersey, whatever. And she got a text message from her friend, and friend's father passed away or something like that. And she found an Incredible Hulk #1. It looked really beat up. I put it in the Discord, and I honestly had no idea how much this book was going for. Now, I would say this is the best Silver Age comic to get. I back to the book. I kind of graded like 1.0, and so I was kind of like, oh, I wonder what the ask price for Incredible Hulk #1 and a 1.0 is right now. Well, here it is. 26,500 is the ask. Probably not going to get that. A 3.0 conserved is going for 8,999. 4.5, 29 grand. A 1.0 is going for 8,799. A 1.5 ask is going for 11,000. That's crazy. A page, 14 page only, is going for $450, which is just insane. 20,000. 2.0 is going for 11K. I wasn't sure if all the pages were included in this book that person had, but we'll see how it works out for him. I'm really curious I offered $2,000 for it just because on a whim. I had no idea, but I guess we'll see what happens. I'll update you guys if I find out a little more later on this week. But man, what a great book to invest in. Even in low grades, I think this is the best Silver Age book to get. Regardless, it's a great cover. Do not get this signed unless you're crazy. But yeah, one of those like, diamonds in the rough in someone's house, and I hope she gets good money for it. But I hope she sells it to me. I don't know. We'll see. Sonic 196. This is the first. This is the first. It was like a cover appearance of Scourge, but pretty cool comic book. Asking 145 or sold 145 for a pretty near mint copy of the direct version. I love this book. I'm always on the look for our newsstands or Canadian price variants in a lower grade, but yeah, I think it's a great cover. It's a later print run of Sonic, so general kind of consensus. The later the print run, the less copies are out there. It's a Sonic book. It's a specific character as well. So happy hunting. If you're in the market for this, that's how much it's going for. Castlevania #4. This is kind of my random pick of the week, but I just love how this issue really pops. I'm watching the Castlevania show on Netflix, and I think it's worth a rewatch if you guys haven't watched it. It's really good. I think it's based on this comic book series, or one of the shows is based on the Belmont legacy. Belmonts are the hunters of Dracula. This iteration, though, I gotta rewatch it because there's a lot of cool magic scenes in it. They're like kind of emphasizing more on the magic versus like the sorcery versus like the swordsmanship. There's also a vampire that is trying to save her daughter, who's still a human, and so there's a little bit of like back and forth. She doesn't want to like kill anybody, but she has those tendencies as well. $11.99 for this. I've seen this usually go for like $25. This copy I found specifically on eBay was in pretty good shape. I don't know how great a shape it was in, but I think that $11.99 was fair for this book. I think #1 has the best cover. It's got basically a sword through a skull with blood and all that good stuff. But I like this cover as well, and I'm a fan of all these comic books. If I find them in diecast shipments, I always pick it up. Next up, this was my like fascinating sale of the week. Amazing Spider-Man #365, first appearance of Spider-Man 2099, arguably in a newsstand for $590. I'm personally not mad at the sale, but I would not pay $590 even for a 9.8 newsstand of this book. I like Spider-Man 2099. I don't really like his appearances in comics, to be honest, but it's a great sale, I think, for the buyer and seller. That's a good medium to meet at. But again, I think it's a little rich for me at 9.8. But I'm sure both the seller and the buyer were very happy at this price, and congrats to both of those parties. But $590 for a 9.8 is really high. I got one more for this, guys. But before you get into this book, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, tell all of your friends, tell all of your whatever, relatives, dogs, cats, kangaroos, whatever, to hit that like button, subscribe. Yes, thank you. Sonic the Hedgehog number 0 and 9.8 Newsy. Now, this is my other weird Newsy sale of the week. $550 for this bad boy. I like the cover. I like how it's a newsstand, but I think there's better Sonic books that I'd rather have. I'm just not really into Sonic's first appearance, oddly enough, even though I like Sonic books. But it's a great sale. I'm not mad at it. I don't think I'd spend $555 on this book particularly, but for longer term, I don't see why this wouldn't hold that price for just the popularity of Sonic and the movies. I think Sonic's kind of like the Toy Story of this era, as far as the movies are concerned, even though it's always specific to like one character, but like, man, it's a really good show, a really good movie. I was watching the last Sonic number 3 on the plane. I fell asleep, but I was really enjoying it, just not from like a speculator standpoint, just watching a movie and kind of enjoying it. But yeah, I'm not mad at this sale. I'd rather put more money towards like a 9.6 first app of Sonic 98. That's just me. But yeah, buyer and seller did good on this one. And then last but not least, an oldie but a goodie. I saw a few sales of these 9.8 newsstands of Star Wars coming out, and I've always been kind of back and forth about Star Wars collectibles. Growing up, I never really sought out the comic books. I was more into the toys, and when I was kind of first getting into like toy collecting or just like memorabilia collecting, it was always the toys. It was never like the comics for Star Wars specifically. And I think that still holds true this day. Like, would I rather have a newsstand Star Wars number 1, 9.8, or would I rather have or would I rather have like, I don't know, the first Luke Skywalker action figure mint on card? Now, I know it's a little bit harder to take care of said toys versus comic books, and they're not as easy to display, but just for like collectability and just memories, nostalgia, I think I'd rather go after toys. With that said, $3,250. I understand that this is it's still the grail for Star Wars. It's a great cover. It's a newsstand. It's from the 70s. So it hits all of those marks there. But personally, I think I'd rather just buy a toy. I think it would make more sense to buy the toy, but to each his own. Anyway, that's the end of the video for this week. Hope you guys liked it. Click that like button, subscribe to all your friends, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow. I'll try and do a video game market report for you guys later. All right, take care.